Welcome to your Daily 5 for Wednesday, February 28th, 2024. As I advise most people to do when a game, actually, I was going to say when a game is released in an incomplete state, but honestly, you could say that about most games at this point. Most large scale games, or what they call AAA or premium games, whatever. The games that tend to cost the most tend to be the ones that ship with the most things missing or not working in their entirety. So, famously, Cyberpunk 2077, when it came out, was not a complete game on every platform that it was released on. And so, at the time, I had said, I'm not buying this game, like I do with most games, so I don't want to single out Cyberpunk too much, but I had said, I'm not buying this till it's a complete edition, because, of course, there was DLC for it, there were massive patches and fixes for it, and so I didn't buy it until the end of last year. And I have, according to Steam, about 67 hours in it. It does feel like I'm pretty much at the end point of the game. I've done almost every single side mission outside of maybe 3 or 4. I'm now doing the story missions, but at this point I feel pretty overpowered. I have not encountered anything that's giving me a problem in a while. So I'm relatively sure at 60 plus hours that I have enough experience with the game to give a review of it. And the review, I really don't care how the story ends, to be honest. The story so far has been fine. I'm sure it will be a satisfactory ending. I have not read anything that said the story was terrible. But honestly, the story has not been my favorite part of the game. What has really impressed me about it has been the environment, the atmosphere, the design of this game. This is a gorgeous game. Not simply because of the graphics, because I'm playing it at pretty higher than I expected settings and it's running very well. But that's not really what I mean. The thing that is the most impressive about this game is how completely they have captured the general consensus idea of what Cyberpunk is. And they've really fused two different conceptions of it together in a very effective way. The one side, which is kind of the William Gibson, dark and very dystopian and very kind of gray and black version of Cyberpunk, where everything is kind of grimy and falling apart and not as smooth and shiny as people might expect out of science fiction in general. And they have put that together with a very, very high neon sheen, glowing, almost synthwave-like aesthetic where everything has bright pop colors. And you see people who have, arms that are malfunctioning, but they're wearing very bright pink and yellow clothing. And they've really managed to weave that into what I have to say is a highly convincing world. That is by far the most impressive thing about Cyberpunk 2077, is its aesthetics. They are spectacular. Everything else is fine. The combat is fine. The driving is no worse than any other game. Again, the story is perfectly serviceable, but nothing has really stood out. There have been a number of side missions, as a lot of people have said in their reviews, that are more impressive than anything that the main story is coming up with. Keanu Reeves is fine. I'm not really impressed with his performance, but I also don't think there's anything wrong with it. He's just kind of there. It is a familiar kind of Cyberpunk, to be honest, staple. But really, the reason to play it, especially now that you can buy it in a complete edition for, in general, quite a bit less than it originally came out for, it is to really bask in the visuals. And I think that just the visuals, just the aesthetics of this game, do make it worth playing. Again, after it's been out for quite a while, there's a number of fixes. I've not encountered any problems with it whatsoever. No crashes, no bugs, no nothing. Outside of the normal stuff here and there, but nothing major. And it is a complete edition with the DLC bolted on, and it's just one game. One game that I bought for a reduced price during one of the frequent Steam sales, so just wait for one of those. And, now, having come to it in a much better state, with a more complete edition of it, it is a lot easier for me to enjoy it. So I'm glad I waited, but I'm also glad I played it. And like I said, I think the most compelling thing about it is to really be in this world that does feel very well realized. So I feel like I made the right decision. I waited till the game was fully functional, fully put together. I got it for a cheaper price, and it has allowed me to just fully enjoy it. So many, I don't know, 2 years after the fact, or however long it came out about, this is obviously a review that doesn't mean anything to anybody because it's so far after the game released. But Cyberpunk 2077, if you waited like I did, jump in the next time there's a sale, because if nothing else, it is a gorgeous game to look at, and it's fun to play too. Later.